Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name's Mary Margaret, and today I am going to be doing a New York Fashion Week Q&A video. If you haven't watched my New York Fashion Week vlog, I definitely recommend going to check that out so that you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about in this video. And then I also filmed a pack and prep with me as well, so I'll have both of those linked down below if you want to go and check them out. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. So I had you guys ask me questions over on Instagram with a little question box. So if you're not following me on Instagram, I'll have my username right here in the corner. I always, anytime I do a Q&A video, I always post the question box over there. So if you want to have the chance to have your questions answered for the next Q&A video that I do, I definitely recommend going to follow me on Instagram so you don't miss out on that. So I guess first and foremost, I want to just disclaim that everyone has a completely different experience. Yes, I'll be able to answer some of the general questions, but also how my week went could be totally different from how someone else's week went. So I guess I'll kind of just start off with the basics to clear the air, because I feel like there's a lot of confusion about Fashion Week. People are like, can I go? How do you go? And really, anyone can go. Even if you aren't attending these big designer fashion shows, you can still just go and be a part of all of the craziness that's going on. It's so fun to just walk around and see everyone's amazing outfits walking down the street. I know a lot of brands have different pop-up events going on that are open to the public. And then there's even some showrooms, and gifting suites are kind of where you have to start getting invited to those things. So for my trip, I went with two other girls and we had so much fun. We actually didn't go to any shows, but we went simply to get content, just to switch up the scenery, because beach photos can get a little repetitive, and it's now the fall season, and I feel like New York is a perfect place to hop into fall content. So that was a big reason that we went, just to have fun, have a girls trip. But then since we were there, we were able to take advantage of the opportunities that were going on. So we attended the Revolve Gallery. I'm a Revolve ambassador, and they were so kind and extended an invitation for me, and I was able to bring two guests. So they got to come with me to that, and that was so much fun. It was such an immersive experience. It almost felt like you were walking through an art gallery. So you got there and you had to check your name off on the list. They gave you wristbands, and then a person guided you up to the floor that it was on. And when you got off the elevator, I recommend going back and watching the New York Fashion Week vlog, because I give you a look at what these events actually looked like on the inside instead of just hearing me explain them. But basically you had so many different photo opportunities. They had little pop-ups with 818, and then another tequila seltzer company. And then they had a Celsius little area, and then other than that, it was just mannequins with some of their new collections, and there was QR codes where you could scan next to that mannequin and it would pull up those items so you could shop them right then and there. And then at the end of walking through everything and taking photos, they had a little pop-up shop. So you had the opportunity to purchase. They had Revolve Beauty, they had just a shoe section and all the regular stuff, so that you had an opportunity to shop some of the pieces. So that was a lot of fun. And then the other thing we went to was the Steve Madden showroom. So this one, you had to be invited by Steve Madden, their PR team. So I received an email. I work with them pretty often, and so they reached out and were like, hey, let us know next time you're in New York. And we'd love to have you come stop by the showroom. So again, I was so grateful that I was able to bring my friends with me, and they were able to get to experience this as well, because it's good networking for them as well. They were able to get some emails and hopefully get some brand partnerships off of this experience. So when we got to Steve Madden, again, there's just photo opportunities, there's a cute neon sign, and then as you walked through the back, there was a big room of shoe displays and a few different seating areas, and the team came and brought us out all a pair of shoes, which was super nice. So we got some gifting from Steve Madden, and then we also went up to the GGC Bikini Suite, which was at the Public Hotel, and that was so much fun. They had a customization area, so they had someone doing embroidery. So I got hat embroidered, and then they also had like little cosmetic bags. And then they also had some of their pieces on clothing racks, and they also had some of their new collections that hadn't been released yet. And basically they just had a few team members walking around, and you could try whatever you wanted on, and you could take home some pieces. So again, that was another gifting suite. And they also even had like jewelry, I said hats, they had tote bags. So it's really just like the overall experience. That was one of my favorite rooms that we went to, just because there was so much to offer and everyone was so sweet, and you just get to meet a lot of people. And then the last thing that we did was we went to the Frankie's Bikinis pop-up. I don't know if it was a pop-up, the store might always be there, but they had like a little pop-up event. So again, they had 818 and they were just making drinks for everyone. This one was probably like the most chill. Like that was kind of it, was you walked in, got drinks, and then you could like sit around and talk. I ran into a few people at this event, so that was fun to finally get to like meet those people in real life that you only talk to over Instagram. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, overall, it's just like content opportunities, networking opportunities, and just a really cool experience. Especially like my friend McKenna had never been to New York, and so I loved that this was like her first time getting to experience, because I feel like we got so much done. And yeah, that was kind of like my experience in a nutshell. A lot of that I show in the vlog, so definitely go and watch that. But let me get right into the questions. Was everything sponsored, or did you have to pay for your flights / accommodation / food? So this is kind of what I was talking about when I say everyone's experience is different, because I know some brands like sponsor people to come out, and so in that case, I don't know their situation, but I would assume they're either covering flights, accommodation, whatever is going on in their agreement. But for me and my friends, we just wanted to go for the experience, and I had some of these brands offering these opportunities, and so I was like, it's worth it in the long run. Like, this investment is going to pay off, and so we were totally fine paying for our flights and our hotel and all of that, because we made a whole little trip out of it. And I think that's the case for most people, but those higher up people, I'm sure, are getting sponsored by brands and being flown out there just for those events. But that wasn't the case for me. So let's see, gifting suites. I know I kind of touched on this, but basically it's exactly what it sounds like. Although I think some are different than others. Like for me, when I went to the GGC Bikini Suite, it was kind of just like you could grab whatever. They had jewelry laid out, they had tote bags, hats, custom towels. You could get a cosmetic bag, and then they also had like their collection. So I grabbed a hat, I grabbed these gold hoops that I have in. My friends got little cosmetic bags, I got a set. So it's kind of what it sounds like. You can kind of just get what you want. But I know some gifting suites are like obviously more extravagant than others. I feel like this one was pretty standard. You could like grab a few things, but I do know, like, I just watched Maggie McDonald's New York Fashion Week vlog, and she was talking about the Revolve gifting suite, which I did not go to. That's for like higher up influencers. She was able to like literally grab whatever. Like, she got stuff for her boyfriend, for one of her friends at home. Like, you can grab anything and everything at some places, but this one I feel like was pretty standard, where like you don't want to take everything because you know other people are still coming, but also it's like this is literally what the brand is doing it for. They want you to take these pieces. So I think it's just like finding a good medium. Do companies reach out to you to go to their events? How does that work? So again, I feel like this is kind of both. So I mostly had the brands reaching out to me. A lot of brands are just like, hey, we have this going on. If you're there, you're more than welcome to come. But I do know, I did reach out to a few brands as well and just ask like, hey, do y'all have any events going on? Like, I'll be in town, I'd love to attend. So you can kind of do both. Brands reach out to people, and then also you can reach out to brands as well. And I recommend just doing that either over DM, or if you already have a connection with the brand. Like Steve Madden, I've worked with for months. So my point of contact just reached out to me directly over email. But I think it's a little bit easier that way, because it's more like you already have a relationship with that brand, so they're gonna wanna meet you in person and like continue growing that relationship. Whereas if you reach out to a brand that you've never worked with before, like they might not respond right away, which is totally fine. But again, you can do both. Okay, favorite thing about New York City. My favorite thing, me and my friends were talking about this on the way out, because although we did so much while we were there, we still like had so many other things we could have done too. And I think my favorite thing is just like always being busy. I love being busy. Although I love to have a lazy day, I also love like waking up early, taking photos, going to get coffee, walking around, getting lunch, and there's just so many opportunities to be doing things at all times, and like the amount of restaurants you could try are endless. But yeah, I just think there's always something going on, whether that be an event, a new restaurant to try, a new park to walk to, and just like the transportation system. Like you can easily go into Brooklyn, Hoboken is right there. I don't know, the city just offers so much, and I think I would never get bored there. Although I would crave like peace and quiet every now and then, I still think it would be fun to like always have something new to try. Next question says, what was your favorite outfit? This is tough. So I kind of want to talk about this, like outfits in general. I felt so prepared going into New York Fashion Week. I was like, I have every outfit planned out, like I am set. And then once I got there, I don't know what happened, but I was like, oh my God, like I literally have nothing. And I was like running out of outfits. Like me and my friends had to like go shopping and be like, all right, I need a dinner outfit. Because I was only thinking of like main things. I was like, oh, we have Revolve Gallery and Steve Madden and GGC and Frankie's. But like I was only thinking of like big things. I like totally forgot about dinner outfits. And so I feel like now I know for next year, one, the more the better. Like I would rather have too many clothes than not enough, because then I feel like I have to go shopping. And then also like I just want to have more fun. Although like I do think my outfits were fun. I think my favorite was like the blue monochrome look the first night, and then the orange fluffy top that I wore to Steve Madden and GGC. Those were like my two fun, super colorful outfits. And I think next year I want to go like even further. Like I want sparkles, I want like matching sets, I want maxi dresses for during the day. I just like, now that I've been to my first one and I've experienced and I know what to bring, I feel so much more prepared for the next year. Like we were leaving and I was like, I already want to start looking up like outfits for next year. So I'm so excited for what Fashion Week 2023 is gonna bring. I just feel more prepared now that I have one under my belt. I know like what to expect, what to pack. But yeah, I think the blue and the orange fluffy top were my two favorites this year. Let's see, did you meet any famous people? So if you watched the vlog, you would have seen the first day we got there, we got in at like 11, and then we were settled in the hotel and changed by 1. And we ran like right after we got there, we changed and went and got lunch. And the place we were eating at, we passed Joe Jonas, y'all. We were all fangirling. Like it's not like I keep up with him, but he's just like a childhood celebrity that was like a huge part of our lives. And so we were just like in shock. And like he passed us multiple times. McKenna told him hi when we were leaving. Oh my gosh, it was just so funny. We literally just landed in New York, and the first place we go to, we see Joe Jonas. So we saw Joe, and then on our last day, we saw Kiara. Is that her name? The girl from Outer Banks. I don't know what her name is in real life, but I know in the show her name's like Kiara. They call her Kiki, I think, or Ki. But yeah, we saw her and her girlfriend on the last day. They passed right by us and they looked so cool. I didn't even like register it at first. I was just like, oh, they look really cool. Like they look so cute. And then we passed and my friends were like, that was the girl from Outer Banks. So those were two of probably like, I think the biggest people we saw. And then other than that, we just saw like TikTok people, Instagram influencers. But yeah, I feel like those two were probably the biggest. This one says, what's your dream event to attend one day? So some of the events that happened this year that I really would have loved to go to was the Aloe event, and then also Love Shack Fancy. I think those two would be so much fun. The events I went to were pretty just like regular, I feel like, showrooms and gifting suites. But I think it was Gymshark. They had an event where there was like facials, they did like a silk class. And so I think doing something like that next year would be a lot of fun, just because it's a little bit different than your average showroom. This question says, would you like to live in New York? That's so tough because I love the beach. I always say that like now that I live at the beach, I can't imagine living somewhere without one. And I do think that is true. I think New York is so fun. If you've never been, I highly recommend, like such a fun trip, but I don't think I could live there full time. I think maybe I could do like 3 months max, and then I would be like, okay, I need a break. So I definitely think it's just like a vacation spot. Even if I went once a month, I would love that, but I definitely don't think I could live there long term. I love having my car, and no one has a car in New York. Everyone just bikes, walks, or takes the subway. And I think that would be really weird not having like my own little like space. And then also I just feel like you have to sacrifice so much. I know every city comes with different types of sacrifices in a sense, but New York is just like one, most people don't have a car. It's really rare to have a dishwasher and a washer and dryer. Most of the closets are like literally this big, and rent's obviously insane. The rooms are just super small. A lot of places don't have elevators, and they're like however many stories, so you have to walk all those flights of stairs. Like, I don't know, I think moving, like that whole process and just all those other little things add up to me, and in my mind I'm like, it's not worth it. I would rather live somewhere else and have these like luxuries at my fingertips. So yeah, I definitely don't think I could live there full time. Where did you guys stay? So we stayed at the Arlo Hotel in Soho. I definitely recommend. I loved the area we stayed in. We all felt super safe the whole time, and the hotel itself was beautiful. There was always kind of like a security person right when you walked in. It was in a good area. Everything was clean and nice. There was a rooftop bar on at the top of her hotel. There was a restaurant at the bottom, and then it was just in super close walking distance to everything. So I feel like I pretty much covered all the basics. If there's any other questions you guys have, leave them in the comments and I'll try and get back to you as fast as I can. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.